Hey guys, Disliter Magic here, and another video about curling cards. Oh boy, because we haven't heard enough about that, but this is a completely different take on it. So, maybe you've seen it, maybe you haven't, but there have been some pictures circulating all over, and I mean a ton of different pictures. All over social media, people like, here's my commander deck, and a whole, front section or middle section, whatever, is just curved. One person had a picture of it inside the plastic, basically airtight sealed, which heavily implies, because, well, a section of the deck was already curled before they even opened it, that at the printing facility, they were curled when they put them in the box. And yep, quality control, passed it, stamp it. Just kidding, I'm saying that super sarcastically because obviously Magic products do not have a quality control stamp or seal or anything, or any quality control department at all, apparently. I mean, let's be honest, if they did, they'd lose 10% of their product to the recycler/incinerator. So, I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, when even the printer is sitting on a sheet of foils before they go into the cutter, and they're like, these sheets are curling. What the hell's going on? We need to get better climate controls inside of our printing facility, or just stop using such crappy sensitive paper that reacts in such a way in such humidity. Basically because, hello, they're curling before we can even get them on the damn cutter, although that would make them cut wrong. So maybe it's after they come off the cutter, but either way, when they're boxing them up, they're like, oh, well, these don't look right. That's the point where you would hit the stop button, reassess it, call the boss, call the engineers, call the printing people, well, printing engineers, basically, they call them, and fix the problem. If you have defective paper that your paper seller says is exactly the same, then you call them up and tell them, no, it isn't. We're never buying from you again unless you get us a replacement that works. And so let's give Wizards a little bit of the benefit of the doubt here. Well, not really. That means that we, not blame them. I'm still blaming them. But they have an out, which is basically either they said nothing and, oh, look, the print quality went down the toilet, the ink quality, the number of mistakes, smudges, missing ink, low levels of black, curling cards, I mean, you name it. Any kind of printing defect, they've been going up through the roof lately. What if it happened all of a sudden Wizards didn't tell them to do that? They didn't tell them, hey, make the cards cheaper. What if they just thought that they could make a higher margin at the printing facility by switching to a different type of paper and they never ran it by Wizards? Or they said, hey, we can lower the price. There won't be any consequences. Nobody will be able to tell the difference. And now they all curl. I mean, keep in mind, they might have already seen the problem and reacted to it because it's primarily, it's going back a couple sets. I think my Amon-Ket cards had some curling issues. And I don't just mean the foils because foils curl, that's what they do. But I mean, just like rares out in the open air. I mean, that's ridiculous. They should not be curling. There is no reason I can think of. I can't even explain why this is happening. But what if the printing company told them, oh yeah, don't worry, we can try this new paper. It's cheaper. It'll save you guys, a couple $1 million a year. And they're like, oh, sure, why not? And now they're like, okay, no, they came out like crap. We're getting so much bad PR, so much bad press. Fix it. And I mean, you guys know when the Ixalan sheets were stolen from the printing facility, which, my mistake, turns out it's in Texas. There's actually multiple locations. So the hilarious thing is only the American English cards are the ones that are getting printed wrong. Apparently the ones that come from Belgium are doing just fine. So sorry about all the bad things I said about Belgium, except for their food and their culture. That still stands. But yeah, all the Texas ones are looking like crap. So Texas, get it together. I mean, you can't blame the hurricane. These things were printed months ago. But they might have already fixed it. So maybe Wizards already addressed it and it's not Wizards' fault at all. Now, back in reality, I'm pretty damn sure Wizards just told them, hey, we like money, lower margins. We need you to use cheaper ink, well, not really machines. Like I said, if you already have a $10 million litho machine or whatever, you're not going to replace it with a cheaper, older one. That wouldn't even make sense logically, unless one broke and you couldn't afford to replace it. But I think they are using a cheaper paper. I think that just has to be it. I mean, that's the only explanation. So let's just go with that and let's pretend that Wizards was the one who demanded it. Well, obviously they're trying to make more money. Now, okay, it's so evil. Corporations always want money. Yes, that's how they stay in business. Making money is kind of the point. Unless they're literally a nonprofit by definition in actuality, not like Goodwill where they're basically for profit and hide it with accounting. Then guess what? You are trying to make money. It's called a profit. Yeah. Instead of just unfair business practices and price gouging and artificial scarcity and planned obsolescence and all the other crap that corporations pull, lowering expenses and lowering costs, that's what you want to do. So yes, if your printing facility tells you you can get, cheaper paper or you tell them go find cheaper paper and try it, All right, I mean, good for you. It backfired spectacularly. But what would be nice after that is an acknowledgement of the problem, an apology, and an assurance that it's not going to happen again from Wizards. That would be lovely. Haven't seen that because anything to do with negative PR, they run and hide. I mean, it's almost like their whole company's run by SJWs, and that's just what they do naturally anyway, so that's how they react to everything in their life. When confronted with logic and reason and anything that damages their ego, they just, oh, turtle time. Not a good PR strategy, not a good corporate image strategy, not a good marketing strategy. Companies used to do that, like in the 80s, it didn't work, so now they cover it up and deflect blame. That's so much better. Or they go full-blown Dominoes and they're just like, we're awful and we know it, don't worry, we're improving. I love Dominoes so much. Well, I have the solution, okay? Not to curling cards because, well, let me just get to why they curl in the first place. So foils are paper, blue adhesive, I guess, more paper, and then possibly more adhesive because I know they're 2-ply. I've actually boiled them in water before to get to their components, and it was very interesting, actually. But yeah, whatever they do to foils, it's basically paper on one side and some kind of plastic metal hybrid mylar laminate or something like that. They're very tight-lipped about what the material is, by the way, but I did almost die electrocuting myself with one accidentally, so they conduct electricity and it's actual metal. Yeah, solved that one pretty conclusively. Seriously, go watch the video. It's hilarious. I mean, if you think me almost dying is hilarious, but I didn't at the time. Don't play with high voltage, kids. But yeah, that doesn't move. I mean, that kind of material does not expand or contract or anything or have anything to do with humidity. It's basically waterproof. And I think they dye sub-print on top of it with like a clear ink, and that's how they get the foil to show through. Little fun fact there. But on the regular cards, they just directly print on the paper. So it's the back, the front, glued together. The back is printed, the front is printed. Great. So foils, I get it. I mean, the paper starts either losing water or absorbing water. I don't remember which it is. Honestly, it's probably both. Just a change in humidity, change in water density. Boom, it curves. So there's not much you can do about that. I mean, Pokemon ones don't do that. I have no idea how they're different. I don't know, maybe it's like paper foil paper? I don't know, that doesn't sound right to me. I don't know how they do it, but they fixed it. So that is evidence in itself that it can be fixed. By the way, if anybody has a transcript, a screenshot, a web page, a link, a video clip, or anything, or an audio stream of one of Wizards' high-up staff members explaining why they purposely are not fixing the curling problem in foils from a couple years ago, send it to me. I will send you, like, the first person to give me a solid link. I want to make this a whole damn video because your head will explode when you hear the reason that what he says. I'm not going to state it here because I want to get it absolutely accurate and actually play the clip. But when I heard it, I wanted to smash something because it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. But they have a wonderful excuse for why they're not fixing this. I'd say use your imagination, but whatever you're thinking, it's 10 times stupider. Trust me. If you have that clip, send it to me on like Twitter in a DM or tweet it or something. And the first person, I will send you an epic prize in the mail. And I mean like legendary. I will literally steal Jeremy's cat from Unsleeved Media and send him to you. Terms and conditions apply. But why is paper bonded with paper curling? How could it be asymmetric? I don't get this. As far as I know, they don't use a heat press to set the ink in the card because why the hell would they need to? That type of card stock doesn't require that. If you're wondering how I know so much about this, I used to work at a printing facility. Also, one of my degrees basically has to do with graphics design. Also, for my last company, I used to do all the printing and mailing. So my theory is they're using a different type of paper for the front as the back, or they used just, I don't know, they wouldn't switch halfway. Like, nobody's that freaking stupid. Like, when they're switching paper, they would make the whole damn card out of the new paper. I mean, they wouldn't slap a different paper on the front as the back. I mean, that would explain it pretty damn quick, but like I said, nobody's that stupid. So I don't really know what's up with it. I mean, we had a big thing at F&M, we were talking about it, and somebody thought it had to do with the little foil stamp thing on the bottom of the rares lately, but it's not like that changed in Commander and Hour, which are the two big curling sets. That could have been phrased better. But yeah, I mean, it's not. I just took the only rare in my entire apartment that wasn't in a deck, which happened to be a Siege Rhino, and boiled it, because that's how you find out what cards are made out of. And so that I don't assist the counterfeiters because I have found out exactly how they do this now, it's not how you think. And how people thought was there's actually a layer of foil in the middle of the card, and they just cut out the paper, and that's the part you can see, but the whole card has like the Wizards little holographic whatever the hell like paper on it, or mylar foil or whatever. But yeah, no, that's not it. All I'm going to say is that little stamp on the bottom has nothing to do with it. So why are rares curling more than other cards? Because I've gotten a lot of reports from people that their commons and uncommons are just fine, and the rares are curling. Well, I think it's because rares you kind of leave out, you leave them in stacks, you leave them in sorting trays, at least I do, and so they're just more exposed to the air with more surface area. Pretty much everybody stores their commons and uncommons very quickly in either tall vertical piles or like boxes highly pressurized. So, you know, I think if you left a bunch of commons and uncommons out for a while, they would curve. And just to test it, I did, and they kind of did. It's really inconsistent too, and it's like it seems like most of my Hour of Devastation green rares were the ones that curled and none of the rest, which that doesn't even make sense. Like with how I know what a sheet looks like, that really doesn't make sense. So I don't really know what's causing it, but it has to be something to do with the paper and how it runs through the press, and it must change the back more than the front. Or it's possible that they use a different ink for the front than the back, but it's like, wouldn't they put the cheaper ink on the back? But I suppose maybe that is what they're doing. I don't know. We could go over theories about why this is happening, but I think it comes down to the paper because, like I said, very hard to change the ink. Very, very, very easy to change the paper. So if that's what's happening, like I said, let's just pretend Wizards said we need to save money because on our digital game, our margin, if you even want to call it that, is like 0. Okay, programming of the game, staff time, marketing, and card design time and R&D. Okay, there you go. So you still got a 99% margin because it's not like you have to physically print them and send them. Then you got like, okay, printing them, cutting them, distribution, the distributor's cut, and FedEx twice. Or, well, it might be a freight shipper. I mean, why would they send like 1 million pounds of cards FedEx? And then they got to send them to me, and then I have to send them to like somebody else on the internet. So, yeah, little bit of an expense in, you know, cutting down trees and getting really expensive ink and equipment and facilities and shipping and fuel and everything. So if they could cut down on that, it's just pure profit. So I think that's what they did. Let's assume they went that route. Okay, here is the answer. Here is the answer you've been waiting for. This is what Wizards needs to do to solve this problem. If they want to lower the cost of card production, it's really, really damn simple. You have to open approximately 242 packs to get a playset of 4 of any given rare. Now, with the whole mythics are at half prevalence, but they're in the same slot thing, it's all a nightmare, but it's approximately 242. That's because I'm using Theros because they just didn't have Planeswalker decks, and I'm sick of sorting those cards out of the numbers. So there's 15 mythics, 53 rares, 60 uncommons, and 101 commons. So 242, remember that. We'll just say 240 to round it. Okay, so there's 80 packs you need to open to get 4 of any individual 1 uncommon. And actually, at that point, you'd have 4 of every individual common. Oh, pardon me, uncommon. And then for commons, it's 40.4. And actually, I don't know why it was 101 commons. If it was 100, it would probably have been 40 on the dot. So let's just say 40, 80, 240. Well, isn't that nice? Because, you know, 40 times 6 is 240, and 80 times 3 is 240. So for every playset of rare that a single seller opens, they have 3 times that number of uncommons and 6 times that number of every individual common. And that is already considering for the fact that there is 1 rare per pack, 3 uncommons, and 10 commons. Even considering that, you would still have to open that many packs. So let's reverse that. What if they took the 10 commons and made it 8? In fact, hell, make it 5. Go 5 commons, 3 uncommons, 1 rare. And yes, I know they lower the number of commons by 1 every 4 packs because every 4 packs contains a foil, and that throws off the number. Okay, these are estimates. Calm the hell down. Well, then it would take, with 5 commons, 80 packs to get 4 of every common and 80 packs to get 4 of every uncommon, which would be stupid, but, you know, whatever. They'd effectively be the same rarity because there are, like I said, 60 unique uncommons, and then there's 101 unique commons, so if you go 3, 5, that is exactly the ratio. But that wouldn't be the end of the world. I mean, a lot of commons are reprints anyway. And then when you scale for just the power level and then translate power level to how much people want that individual card in general, compared to a rare, commons would not really go up in price. I mean, like 2 commons from the last set were 35 cents and the rest were 25, and then a week later they were all 25. And that's retail. I'm not even talking TCG player, bulk, wholesale, none of that. So, I mean, I don't think they should go to 5. I think they should go to 8. But that would still be 2 out of, I guess, 16, depending upon how you want to count it. But, you know, ink with paper on it, basically. Well, then again, you use half the paper to make a token. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. They're lighter and thinner. Whatever it is, it's like almost 10% of the production cost to make a booster is gone now. I doubt that they saved 10% on whatever cheap, crappy paper they're using or whatever the hell they cheaped out on to make them look like crap. Or not, well, look like crap, that's just quality control, but curl like crap. So yeah, if they did that, if they just reduced it to 8, nobody would see any difference. There wouldn't be some big shortage. I mean, who says, oh, I just can't get my hands on enough commons? I mean, people at my LGS, and in fact my old LGS and the one before that, everyone I've ever played at ever, people open a booster pack and be like, well, I already opened 1 or 2 boxes, or I just bought, 500 bulk commons off the shop themselves. Which you should absolutely offer to do at your LGS, by the way, so that encourages them to open more boxes, and then their rare binders are more full. And it helps them make a ton of money, because about $7 will get you 100 commons bulk. That's the typical price. Some of them go as low as like $3.20, by the way. I've seen it. So, yeah, do it. It'll make them a ton of money. But yeah, I mean, people just leave them out. They just open a booster and they leave the commons and most of the uncommons, if not all of them, out for random new people to pick up or people who don't open entire boxes to get play sets of commons. And keep in mind, you only have to open about 500 commons total to get almost mathematically guaranteed 4 of every common if there's 100 commons, because then you got, 25% padding. That would eat up the entire variance at that volume, and, if you really need one, I mean, who the hell even trades commons? I mean, you could probably just ask someone like me, and they'll give you 1,000 commons. Like, completely for free. Like I said, you could probably get them in bulk from your store anyway. Trust me, the price, the 25 cents for every common that they charge buying them as singles, that's the sorting labor, not the cost of the box. So the only side effect of this, because, there would be a downside, and the downside, let me just throw this out there, it wouldn't be people like backlash against Wizards, oh, they're trying to rip us off. Nobody's going to miss 2 damn commons. I mean, for God's sake. Even I don't like storing my commons. I have like 5,000 count boxes of commons, and I'm just holding them in case magically they go up or I find a bulk reseller. I hate storing them, I hate dealing with them, and they're hard to get rid of. So that wouldn't be it, and I don't think even a casual player or anybody who knows anything about the Wizards card economy would be like, oh, my commons, I'm going to miss them so much. No, I mean, they could totally get away with it. But the booster box would either have to have like 4 more boosters in it, or I should say 3, because they're in 3 columns. And then they'd have to raise the price. So then it would be like, oh, they're shorting the boosters and then raising the price. They're giving us less. What the hell? Except that they'd be adding 3 boosters. But you don't want to mix negativity. You could just keep the price the same, make the boxes slightly smaller, and then there you go. Less cardboard to literally print the boxes. You could fit more in a case. You could fit more in a pallet. They would weigh less. They would be easier and cheaper to ship. I mean, there's no downside here. Wizards, reduce it to 8 commons. Just do it. There is literally not one downside to this at all. Okay, it would mess up draft a little bit, like an actual formal draft, but, so do 2-sided cards. I'm actually not sure what they would do. Just give people a smaller draft pool? I mean, everybody cheats at draft anyway, so who cares? Oh no, I definitely legit pulled these 4 Glorybringers, yeah. So that's my solution. That would lower their production costs, nobody would care, wouldn't affect the customers, and it would actually make the product a little bit cheaper to move, to ship, to store. You could store more of it per area because the boxes would be smaller. I can't think of a downside. So that is what they should do. Not let's cheap out on paper, let's make the product look like crap, let's fire some of the QC people and oh look, misprints and smudges and missing black ink and missing colors and half the damn cards missing. The cutter's not aligned correctly, this, that, and the other thing. No, that's how you piss off your customers. In case you haven't gauged the response to this on Reddit, which, okay, Reddit likes to whine about anything and they overreact to everything. But in general, this would be the way to save money. So what do you guys think? Would you give a crap about 2 missing commons? Would you care at all in any way? Do you think this is absolutely brilliant? Are you going to go tweet Wizards immediately and tell them to do this? And what do you think your wildest conspiracy theory about how the cards are getting bent? Whose fault is it? Who gave the order? Who replaced the paper? Who did this, did that? What machine broke? What are they not doing? Who did they fire? What chemical are they not using? Or I don't know. What aliens came down to curl them with their microwave-emitting invisible flying saucers? Did time travelers show up and with their quantum space-time field, they opened it too close to the printing facility? All right, now y'all are just going to post some really stupid crap down in the comment section, but that's fine. Feel free, and I'll see you guys next video.